Well, boys, we have finally made it to double digits, episode 10 coming at you. But before we get into this and before I start talking about the guest today, I just want to say that some changes are coming to the podcast, but definitely for the better. I am now partnering up with Wiffle Now, which I'm sure you can see the logo right now if you're watching this on YouTube. And if you're not, just let me explain for a second. Wiffle Now is a new kind of organization, or as I like to call it, a hub. It's mainly coming to the podcast scene right now and is going to combine a lot of the big Wiffle Ball podcasts that are out there right now. It's run by Tom Gannon. His podcast is going to be there. Also, podcasts such as the Two Wiffle Dudes podcast should be coming back and being on there now. So, mainly for the podcast area, it's going to be under the name Wiffle Now, which Wiffle Statement will be with them. So if you get on Spotify and look up Wiffle Now, you'll see the Wiffle Now podcast, and then under that will fall in this other group of all these different kinds of podcasts from all over the country. It's a really cool idea, and I'm all on board with it, just kind of to get all the Wiffle Ball information, all the different Wiffle Ball people from around the country combined into one place where everybody can go and listen to the podcast and get news from all over the community. So now Wiffle Statement, the podcast, is going to be combined into the Wiffle Now spectrum. So on Spotify, the link below, if you're watching this on YouTube, like I said, the link below is going to link to the Wiffle Now, where you can find my podcast, and all subsequent episodes that come out can be found there. So no longer on my Wiffle Statement podcast account. That is going to be defunct. Everything is going to be with Wiffle Now. Same thing with Apple. However, if you just want to listen on YouTube, my episodes will, as always, will be uploaded to Wiffle Statement YouTube channel right here. So if that's your cup of tea, then please, by all means, stick with it. But Wiffle Now, it's a really great idea. We have a lot of exciting stuff cooking up with it, and I'm going to be unveiling more of that as the weeks come by leading up to the 2019 season, not just with the podcast area, but through other social media networks that we're going to try to just combine forces and really put all the Wiffle Ball news from around the country in one place where people can find it. But also have no fear, the Wiffle Statement channel is still going to it's still going to remain its own entity. I'm still going to be doing all the same stuff I do on this channel, but just going to be working with Wiffle Now to make other stuff for them and just help make that hub of Wiffle Ball information. So, little PSA over, just kind of wanted to explain what's going to be going on with that. It's one big announcement I wanted to put out this month. So, happy March, and as I said at the very beginning of that little monologue, episode 10 is here, and this episode is going to feature a true modern-day hero of the Wiffle world, Jack Aigner, or Swagner, as I guess he's called now in MLW, or, as I would say, the biggest juggernaut of hilarious awesomeness to ever grace the game. Before diving into this episode, I have to set the stage a little. Most of the guys in my league watch MLW, and it's kind of this form of common entertainment, and Jack is one of our constant quotables, whether it be his get out or just his amazing commentary through the games when he's messing around with the mic. Jack brings so much passion and realness to the game that you can't help but love it. Besides all this, Jack is entering the 2019 season breaking away from his 3-year Predators career to start his own team. After a fantastic 2018 season, where he had a .396 average with 20 RBIs, Jack is looking to lead his new squad, the Metro Magic, into a breakout first year. This and much more we unpack in this episode 10 of the Wiffle Statement podcast. So, without further ado, let's roll. You're almost like a meme legend, at least for my league. I can't tell you how many times we'll have strikeouts and somebody will just quote one of your get out lines, or like just the little sidebar things. Like, oh my gosh, you're like it's almost like you're at our league, the amount of times people quote you.
That's awesome. Love to hear that.
So you are a guy doing a little bit of research. You've had a pretty bit of a variety of experiences in sports. You're a lacrosse player, correct?
Yeah, that's correct.
And football, and I'm correct, you play lacrosse in college, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, so I'm just kind of curious, having that differing experience, what led you to eventually play wiffle ball?
Well, actually, how I got into the league, Alex Warda, obviously manager of the and I've been friends with Warda since elementary school, and he was looking for another player to play, and I just love sports in general, so he asked me if I wanted to play on the team, and I gave it a shot.
So how was that transition when you first started playing? I don't know how much baseball experience you had, but what kind of were your first thoughts when you started getting into it?
Well, I have almost basically no baseball experience. I didn't even make it through T-ball, but Wiffle Ball is a lot more fun. It's a lot faster paced. I definitely struggled in the beginning to see the pitches. They move a lot. But I think it almost helped me not having a baseball background, because sometimes baseball players, their swing's a little bit different in Wiffle Ball, and it kind of takes them some time to get used to it. But I never really had a swing or a baseball background or anything, so.
Yeah, for sure. The adjustment with baseball is definitely big. I love the fact, actually, that you don't have the viewpoint of any baseball experience. I always think that's interesting because, like, most wiffle ball players have played baseball, but I think it's cool to see guys that haven't, just because that's not a requirement. It's not at all, and that proves just you've had a pretty successful career so far, and just goes to prove that, I guess.
Yeah, I agree. I think baseball definitely helps in some facets, but I think wiffle ball is kind of a backyard game. As long as you have good hand-eye coordination, you can kind of adapt to it and don't necessarily need the baseball background.
Right, and you continued to adapt to it through your first season and your second season. Both of those were with the Predators. So, as somebody who enjoys watching that team play and not alone with that, I just got to ask, what was it like having that whole experience playing with the Predators over those 2 years?
It was awesome. I mean, like I said, I was really good friends with Warda, and also good friends with Russell. And it was awesome. I mean, that team was super fun to play for, high energy. Even though we weren't necessarily the best team in the league, didn't have the most wins. I just got in the league originally just to have some fun, and I definitely had fun playing on that team. It was awesome playing with those guys.
And I think that's what made it partly, or that's what does make it so enjoyable to watch, is every team has a different attitude. Like the Eagles are pretty, quiet. They're there to get a job done. But from a viewing standpoint, the Predators were always so fun to watch just because of the pure excitement, the hype, and just brought it so down to earth and made it have fun with the game. But throughout those years, there were definitely some ups and downs. I'm curious, what was the worst heartbreak as a Predator that you experienced?
Worst heartbreak, I would say. I don't know. Last year, I think we didn't really have a good series against the Cobras, but I believe the year before that, we actually won. I believe it was the year before that we won the playoff game. Like, we lost in the series to the Cobras by a game or whatever, I think. And I thought we had a good chance to beat them, and they ended up going on to the World Series, which was kind of heartbreaking because I felt that, we had a shot to beat them, and, our pitching couldn't get the job done at the end of the day. But that was probably the most heartbreak.
Yeah, I'd honestly agree with you. I watched that series on live stream, and man, I was pulling for y'all all the way. But I honestly think that's one of the best series ever in MLW history. That series was just a blast to watch. I can't imagine what it was like to play in.
Yeah, it was awesome to play in. I mean, that's why you play in the league, to have that experience and have some fun, good competition. Unfortunately, we came up on the wrong end.
And do you think that coming up on the wrong end last year, in 2017, and then this year, that very rough series in the playoffs against the Cobras, is that kind of what led you to leave and start your own team, or just something else?
It was definitely, nothing against the Predators. I loved playing for them. I loved kind of being the underdog. I'm obviously getting older here and don't know how much longer, I'll be playing wiffle ball before it's time to do some real stuff in the summer. So I just wanted to kind of, I think this league has potential, and I thought expansion was like a good thing at this point, and I wanted to be able to be a part of that and, kind of lead my own team, and see where that went from there. But it was definitely nothing against the Predators. I have a bunch of respect for Warda and what he's done, and I think that they're going to have a good year this year.
Yeah, I certainly admire that, just the wanting to expand the league. I think that's one thing I'm really looking forward to this year with MLW is that I'm not sure how familiar you are with it, but if MLW is going to become like another MAW or Fast Plastic or any of those pro tournament leagues, expanding and adding more teams and just growing the size of the league is something that was definitely in the cards for the future. And I think this year we're certainly seeing the first steps towards that. And I'm really excited to see the Metro Magic and being a part of that. So just out of curiosity, understand wanted to go on your own, expanding. So how did the whole team come about? How did the roster come about? The name? How did you throw all this together?
So I'll start with the name. The name was Kyle's idea. We had thrown around a few options, but I think that one was his idea, and I like that one too. I think it's a pretty unique name.
Non-animal.
I think the fans will like it. And as far as the team, I kind of wanted a mix of some players who'd played in the league and had experience, and also some new kids because I obviously wasn't in the league from the very beginning, and I kind of came in, so I kind of wanted to see if there were also some players that could do that for me and for my team. So finding people to play on the team was a little bit of a struggle at first, but I think the team that I've put together has a good shot, to make a little bit of noise in the league.
So what exactly do you hope to bring to the table in 2019 for your new team?
I want my team to be competitive. I want to be able to win some games. There's definitely going to be mistakes. There's definitely going to be losses. But overall, Seahawks last year, no slight to that organization, but last year kind of didn't have a whole lot of competitive nature in them,
right?
For lack of a better term. And even if our team, struggles and doesn't have a great year, I just want to make sure that we're competitive and we're bringing good content to the league.
I think that's a very respectable attitude to have because, like I said earlier, and just like you said, if MLW is going to expand and grow, it doesn't only have to be structure-wise, it also has to be an attitude, and an attitude of professional, competitive, all that. So I think that's one thing that we'll do incredibly well. I mean, if the past 2 seasons are any indicator of that. So I think that's going to be a great asset to the league for sure. And I mean, here we are about to be in March. Opening day is right around the corner. What are you looking forward to most in this coming season? Do you have any goals set, or just what are you looking forward to accomplishing the most?
I'm just looking forward to making a name for the new team, and giving the fans something new, seeing what sort of fan base we can build with that. Goals. I guess the only goal, in this league would be to win a World Series. I don't know if that's necessarily going to happen this year. That'd be awesome if it did. That would certainly be our goal, but keeping things realistic, I think having a winning record in our first year would be a really good start to the organization. And I'm really looking forward to see how the new players on my team coming in the league do, and what the fans think of their game.
I'm sure all the fans are too. Would you like to talk about the new players for a minute?
Yeah, obviously Alex House is on the team. Everyone's seen him. He's been a solid player in the league. And the new players, Kyle Hook and Cameron Beaton, they both have amount of baseball background. Both also pitched on the high school baseball team, and so traditionally in wiffle ball, the thing that makes a difference is the pitching, and that's obviously going to be the biggest question mark with our team. But I feel like kids who have pitched in baseball can kind of pick up the pitching in wiffle ball, and I know Hook has played wiffle ball in the past and has the ability to pitch. And so going into the first series, I assume he'll be the starter. And I think he's got some good stuff to bring to the plate.
Well, that's super exciting. Always awesome to have new pitching blood, particularly in leagues. And it's exciting to see how they'll perform, and definitely in the role of an ace and for a new team. I'm not sure if Kyle has issued any schedules out to the team, but how do you think it'll be playing against the Predators for the first time?
I think it'll be awesome. I think it'll be definitely an exciting series. Like I said before, nothing against the Predators. I wouldn't say there's bad blood between us. I have a ton of respect for that organization and what Ward has done with them. But it'll definitely be exciting to play against my former team.
Yeah, I think that's a matchup that everybody is going to be waiting for, just to see the hype, and I'm sure it'll be a pretty competitive series. So do you think the Metro Magic, I know life is ever-changing in terms of what's going on, like with the Cobras roster, a lot of those guys had to drop out due to just wanting to do things on their own, and that's understandable, but do you think that the Metro Magic will be a team that we see sticking around for the coming years, hopefully?
Yeah, I think we will for sure. Now, there may be roster changes here and there, throughout the years, maybe throughout the season. But I think, as long as we're competitive and bring good content to the league, we'll be around for a while.
Well, awesome. I'm very excited to hear that firm commitment. I think everybody, including myself, is really excited to see how all the new teams perform, and particularly the Magic. And like I said earlier, we're about to be in March. Opening day is right around the corner, literally. And I, for one, am super excited. I think 2019 has the potential to really skyrocket MLW, or at the very least unlock a lot of that potential that's been growing, like last year being on ESPN, the new field. 2019 is a very interesting year in terms of where the league will go. So as somebody that is playing in the league and somebody that is involved in the activities of it, I'm just curious, do you think that this will be a big year for MLW, and if so, in what way?
Yeah, I definitely think it'll be a big year. I think the expansion teams will kind of, give a little fresh, new experience and see what they can do. See how they perform. I think also having the second year of moving to the new field, backing up the pitching mound, I think that a lot of the pitchers will start finding the strike zone a lot more. As well as the batters being able to connect, because I know that was, for some batters and pitchers, a big change and something that took getting used to. So I think it's definitely a big year, and those are things to be looking for.
Well, alrighty, cannot wait, and I'm right along with you with that. Hopefully 2019 will also bring just some awesome wiffle ball, and really, that's all anybody wants to see. So, best of luck in this coming season. Cannot wait to see how the Magic performs. And thank you again, Jack, so much for coming on the podcast. Greatly appreciate it. Do you want to say anything before I sign off?
No, thanks. Thanks for having me on, and let's go Magic.
Alrighty, good deal. If you guys want to check out MLW or any of their social media that you may not follow, I'm sure you all do. And if not, then you definitely should. I have linked them all below in the description of this video, so definitely go check them out. Opening day is coming in May, so get excited, support MLW. It's a very great wiffle ball league, and they're doing a lot of great stuff over there, so definitely give them some support. Also, tell me below what you think in the comments. How do you think the Magic will perform? sure it's going to be amazing, but you can just reaffirm that down below. And if you did enjoy this podcast, please drop a like and subscribe and you know the drill, all that good stuff. I don't even have to say it. Anyway, you guys get out there, play some Wiff, support MLW, and just enjoy Wiffle Ball, because summer's coming and that means Wiffle Ball time. So anyway, have an awesome day, and I'll be talking to you guys soon. Goodbye.